Hello guys, so now we shall be discussing about two triangles in the abdomen. One is the hepatocystic triangle and the other one is called as a Calot triangle. Okay, why do we learn these triangles? Because these triangles are useful for the surgical purpose. Okay, so a topic of discussion will be two triangles which we will be discussing here. One is called as the hepatocystic triangle. Hepatocystic triangle. Another one is called as the Calot's triangle. Hepatocystic triangle as well as the Calot's triangle. Okay, now coming to this hepatocystic triangle, let us say this is the liver, right? And here all of you know that we have got some important ducts here, right? For example, we have got a duct called as right hepatic duct, we have got a duct called as left hepatic duct and cystic duct. Okay, so let us draw this. So here we have got this duct which I am drawing here. This is called as the right hepatic duct. And next important duct here which I am drawing right now is called as your left hepatic duct. The right and left hepatic duct together, the right as well as the left hepatic duct together, they form a duct like this. This is called as a common hepatic duct. Okay, and after that here we have got a small part which is located behind the liver. This is called as a gallbladder. Okay, now from this gallbladder we have got another duct that is coming all the way like this. This is called as your cystic duct. Okay, what is this called as? This is called as your cystic duct. So now the cystic duct and the common hepatic duct together they form common bile duct. Okay, together they form what? Together they form common bile duct. So here we have got the right hepatic duct and this is called as a left hepatic duct, right? And this part over here is called as a common hepatic duct. Okay, and this one is called as your cystic duct. What is this called as? This is called as your cystic duct. So cystic duct and common hepatic duct together they form common bile duct. Together they form common bile duct, right? Now here very clearly you can find one triangle. Okay, what is a triangle? See here the triangle is having three borders. Okay, so this is one border which you can see here, right? And this is another border which you can see here, and this is another border which you can see here. So here you can find a triangle. So this triangle is having three borders. What are those three borders? So the first border is, let me highlight it. The first border which you can see here is the inferior surface of the liver. Okay, so this border which I am drawing with the yellow right now, this is the inferior border of the liver. So on the top, superiorly what do you have? Superiorly you have got inferior border of the liver. Next important thing is laterally. Laterally what do you have? Laterally you have got the neck of the gallbladder as well as the cystic duct. Neck of the gallbladder and the cystic duct. This forms your lateral border. Okay, and after that what is the medial border consisting of? Medial border is consisting of common hepatic duct. It is consisting of common hepatic duct. Though with my picture here it might not look like a triangle, but still the anatomical representation is somewhat different, but still it is a triangle. Okay, so this triangle is having three important borders. What are those three important borders? One you have got inferior, one you have got is the inferior border of the liver. What is that? Superior border. Superiorly you have got the inferior surface of the liver, and laterally you have got the cystic duct as well as the neck of the gallbladder, and medially you have got your common hepatic duct. So this triangle which I have drawn here, this is called as your hepatocystic triangle. Okay, so let us write down that before we move on to the next triangle. So if you look at the borders of hepatocystic triangle, so what are the borders of the hepatocystic triangle? So superiorly what do you have, laterally what do you have, and medially what do you have? So superiorly we have got the inferior border of the liver. Inferior border of the liver. Laterally what do you have? Laterally you have got the cystic duct. Cystic duct and the neck of gallbladder. Next, medially what do you have? Medially you have got the common hepatic duct. common hepatic duct. So these are the three important things that are located over here. Now apart from this, the next important thing I want to tell you here is about the Calot's triangle. So the next triangle, let us write it down here itself, that is your Calot's triangle. Right, if you look at the Calot's triangle, guys, so what are the important structures that are located? But before I draw the Calot's triangle, I have to draw the arterial system. So to the liver, there is an artery that is supplying to the liver, that is called as a common hepatic artery. Okay, so this artery which I am drawing right now is your common hepatic artery. This is your common hepatic artery. Common hepatic artery divides into right hepatic artery, left hepatic artery. Let us say this is an artery that is going all the way here. Right, so this artery is called as the left hepatic artery, and after that you have got another artery that is coming all the way like this. This artery is called as your right hepatic artery. One branch of right hepatic artery, is going all the way like this. Okay, so first what you need to know, the one which I have drawn starting is called as the left hepatic artery, this one is called as the right hepatic artery. There is a small branch of this right hepatic artery. This small branch of this right hepatic artery is going all the way like this. This is called as cystic artery. What is this artery called as? This artery is called as cystic artery. So what are the things we have mentioned here? So this one over here is called as your left hepatic artery. This is called as your left hepatic artery. Okay, and this one over here is called as your right hepatic artery. A branch of right hepatic artery is called as your cystic artery, Okay, now next important thing is that here very clearly you can look at a triangle here. Right? So what is this triangle actually comprising of? So if you see here, the superior border of this triangle, so this is a superior border, right? So the superior border of this triangle is having which artery? It is having cystic artery. Okay, now after the superior border you have got the lateral border. The lateral border is this one. The lower one is called as the lateral border. The lateral border is comprising of what? Cystic duct. Next, the medial border. If you exactly look at the medial border here, the medial border is comprising of this duct here. This is called as common hepatic duct. Okay, so this triangle has got three important borders. So one you call it as a superior border, one you call it as a lateral border, and the other one you call it as a medial border. So superior border you have got the cystic artery, inferior border, lateral border you have got the cystic duct, as well as the medial border consisting of the common hepatic duct. So in Calot's triangle also we have got three important borders. One is called as a superior border, another one is called as a lateral border, another one is called as a medial border. Superior border is consisting of what? It is consisting of cystic artery. Okay. Next, lateral border is consisting of what? It is consisting of cystic duct. And medial border is consisting of what? Common hepatic duct. Okay, so these are the two important triangles which you have to know. So just have a quick recap of the triangles which we have discussed right now. So we discussed two important triangles here. One is called as your hepatocystic triangle, right, and the other one is called as your Calot's triangle. So what is the borders of the hepatocystic triangle? In the hepatocystic triangle we have got the inferior border of the liver, we have got the cystic duct and the neck of the gallbladder, which forms the lateral border, and the medial border is common hepatic duct. Now medial border is same for Calot's triangle as well as your hepatocystic triangle. Medial border is common hepatic duct here and there, right? And we have got cystic artery, the superior, and lateral border as a cystic duct. So these are the two important triangles which you need to know. Thank you so much for watching my video. Goodbye.